I would like, if I may, to tell you a story. There was once a travelling salesman who had spent many days on the road, travelling up and down the land, selling his wares, which were little plastic boxes in which you could keep food fresh, but that's not really relevant. As he was driving back home on a dark, cold, rainy night, his car hit a pothole, swerved, and carried on down a bank and hit a tree. The man was shaken but unhurt and left the car in search of help. After 20 minutes or so, the man noticed some lights way ahead in the distance and sensibly headed towards them. As he got closer to the source of the illumination, he noticed that it was a small public house, which suited his needs very well. After all, he was hungry and he was thirsty, and he could have done with a bed for the night. He approached the door of the public house and heard a lot of noise and a lot of jollity coming from within. As the door opened, jollity subsided, as is often the case in small country pubs, and every face turned to look at the man. Once they'd evaluated and assessed him, they continued with their activities, drinking, playing games, having conversations with one another. The man went to the bar and ordered himself a pint of beer. After all, he was very fond of beer and was rather thirsty after his long walk. The barman pulled him a glass of traditional ale, and the man went and sat at a chair at a table and proceeded to drink it. All of a sudden, the door burst open, and into the room rushed a wide-eyed man. "The werewolves are coming! The werewolves are coming!" shrieked the man, and everybody put down their drinks, rushed to the back of the bar. The barman opened up the cellar, everybody shot into the cellar and dragged the salesman with them and shut the door. The salesman was suitably confused. What on earth is going on? They told him to whisper, to keep his voice down. Every so often, the werewolves attack the bar. They come in, they pillage, they attack, they drink, and then they leave. The salesman, along with everybody else, sat quietly. They heard some scratchings, some noises, and then silence. Finally, the barkeeper pushed open the lid to the cellar and peered out. He looked down, nodded at the assembled throng. Everybody ascended the stairs, returned to their business. Drinks were gone. The man noticed his beer had also disappeared. He was a little bit peeved by this, but thought much better than being attacked by werewolves. The man went back to the bar, ordered another pint, sat at the table. He got about a third of the way through his beer when the door shot open again, and another wide-eyed villager piled into the bar. "The werewolves are coming! The werewolves are coming!" Everybody got up, dragging the poor salesman with them. They rushed to the cellar. The cellar door was shut, and they sat, shivering in fear. Eventually, as before, the barkeeper pushed open the trapdoor, peered out, and assured people it was safe to re-enter the bar. The salesman and the villagers returned to their drinks, which of course had vanished. The man went back to the bar, ordered another pint, by which time he was getting a little bit peeved at the expense. He returned to his seat along with everybody else and began drinking his beer, which was delicious, but again he managed to get about a quarter of the way through before the door burst open once again, and a wild-eyed villager, a different one this time, burst in. "The werewolves are coming back! The werewolves are coming back!" shrieked the man. This time, the salesman figured out the script by now, was ahead of the rush. He got to the trapdoor, he opened the door, they disappeared down, everybody followed him, they shut the lid, and they sat there quaking, for fear of the werewolves. They heard some sniffling, they heard some scratching, and then nothing. The barkeeper pushed open the lid. People emerged from the cellar. The same scene greeted their eyes. Ears were missing. Food was taken. There were perhaps some scratches on the floor, and the door was banging in the breeze. The man, heartily fed up by this time, returned to the bar again. "Does this happen a lot?" said the man. "Frequently," said the barkeeper. "Another pint?" The salesman, still wanting to get at least a pint of beer down him, ordered another beer. He returned to his table. He checked his cell phone, but of course there was no connection. He looked around the room to see if anybody else looked suitably worried at this 3-werewolf attack. No concern seemed to be etched on people's faces. He listened. He sat nursing his pint. And then finally he decided it was safe enough to drink. No sooner had he put the beer to his lips than the door burst open again. Another wide-eyed villager piled into the bar. He looked around, took a deep breath, and declared, "The werewolves are coming! The werewolves are coming!" Everybody rushed back to the cellar. The cellar door was slammed shut. The bolt was pushed for extra safety, and the people sat cowering once again in the cellar, in the darkness. They sat there for some time, as the noises from above persisted this time. But still, the noises continued. The barman opened the door in his customary fashion, stuck his head above the doorway, stared around, declared that the room was safe for people to enter. Everybody piled out, everybody sat down, and once again, the salesman noticed that his beer had gone. By this stage, because he was a canny and sensible man, he began to suspect that something was afoot. He realized, to his ire, that the villagers were scamming him. He was the out-of-towner. He was the vulnerable stranger. They had an arrangement where somebody would rush in, declare werewolves were coming, and in all the panic and confusion while he rushed downstairs, somebody would steal his pint and he would be forced to buy another one. This annoyed the man. And he vowed to himself that he would never fall for this scam again. He ordered another beer, and crisps this time. He sat at his table and he waited for the inevitable clamour. Once again, no sooner had he lifted his pint to his lips than the door burst open. A villager shot in and declared once more, "The werewolves are coming back! The werewolves are coming back!" Everybody shot to the cellar. The barman opened it, closed the lid, bolted it, but the salesman remained behind. He was not going to be fooled. Oh no, not for a 5th time. So he sat quietly behind the bar and waited. And the door burst open. And the werewolves entered. And they ate him and then drank his pint.